Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening. This is our admitted student event, Campus Crawl, residence halls and dining options. We're going to have an opportunity today to show you some of our residence halls and our dining spaces, have some of our students kind of give you a little tour around. And we're also going to have an opportunity to answer some of the questions that we know you might have about residential life and dining at Hamilton. So first of all, congrats. So happy that you're all accepted to Hamilton and that you are choosing to learn a little more about us tonight. My name is Ben Rose. I'm an Associate Dean of Admission here at Hamilton, and I'm also a graduate, class of '09. I am joined by my colleague, JD Ross, another Associate Dean of Admission, who's going to be helping out in the chat and the Q&A today. If you do have questions throughout the event, please feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we'll try and respond there as we can. This event is going to be about an hour, depending a little bit on how long some of those tours of spaces take and how many questions we can get to. But hopefully we're going to be able to jump through a number of different spots. We have 3 residence halls and 2 dining halls we're going to show you, and we'll have some time for question and answer at the end as well. So I'm going to get started here by introducing 2 of my other colleagues on campus. We have Ashley Place, who's a Director of Residential Life, and Tan Sherman, Assistant Director of Residential Life. And so would you mind introducing yourselves?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. I'm Ashley Place. I'm the Director of Residential Life. I've been at Hamilton for 14 years now. I started right out of grad school as an area director and loved it so much that I stayed for a long time. I'm really excited to be here. I have a lot to share with you, and I'm excited to answer whatever questions you have.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanith Sherman. I'm the Assistant Director of Residential Life. This is my 4th year at Hamilton, so not quite as long, but I'm also very excited to be here tonight to answer any questions anyone has about housing at Hamilton.
So to go ahead and get us started, Ashley, could you talk a little bit about the role of residential life at Hamilton and give us kind of that high level view?
Definitely. So my staff is, it's myself, Tanith Sherman, and I have 3 area directors. Area directors are professional staff who live in the residence halls, and they supervise a staff of 70 RAs. So my office really focuses on housing and on what happens in the residence halls. We train and supervise your RAs. Your RAs are people who are going to be a great resource for you when you get to campus and through your first year and through your 4 years at Hamilton. So we do everything. We do programming. We handle any kind of like facilities issues. If something breaks in your room, we help you get that fixed. If you have a roommate conflict, we help you sort that out. We do all of that. So anything you can think of that happens in the residence halls, we oversee it.
Great, thank you. And Kenneth, could you tell us a little bit about how these incoming students, should they choose Hamilton next year, how they would end up in a residence hall? How would they find out where they're going? How would they get matched up with a roommate?
Yeah, absolutely. So you will get a access to what is called your housing account, which you will use for all 4 years at Hamilton for all things housing and applications and forms. You'll get access to that and access to a housing questionnaire on May 17th. And that housing questionnaire is really important because that is what we use to match you with your roommates for your first year at Hamilton. The housing questionnaire is a combination of multiple choice questions, such as what time do you go to bed? How messy are you? Are you a smoker? That sort of thing. And then there's also a write-in portion where we ask you to just tell us about you. And that's your opportunity to tell us anything you want us to know when we're matching you up with roommates. So if you love Taylor Swift, you can write that in there. If you really like to play baseball, you can write that in there. If you want a roommate that plays video games with you, write that in there. We use those questionnaires to match you up with your roommates. All of our first year students live in doubles, triples, or quad spaces in a variety of buildings on campus. That questionnaire is due on June 11th, so make sure you get it in on time. And then you get your housing assignment on July 15th. And when you get your housing assignment, you also get all the information to meet your new roommates.
Wonderful. All right, so with that, I think let's dive into seeing some of the housing spaces. So Ashley and Tanith, we'll be back with more questions for you later. But for the moment, we're going to turn it over to Rory in Keene. Let me spotlight.
Accepted. I'm Rory. I'm a junior from Canton, New York, and I'm a creative writing major, classics and computer science minor. And this is Keene, where I'm one of the lovely RAs in the building. So right now we're in our first floor common room. This is a chill place. People come in and they watch movies here on the weekends. We also have a lot of fun toys like the ping pong table, and we have a foosball table on the second floor. And then if we come in here, floor as well, but every floor has kitchen and some sort of common room. And then laundry on the first floor, we have our little table where people leave all the socks that they use in the dryers. You can always find loose socks. And then we can come down to a student room. One of my favorite parts of living in Keene are the large windows in each room. They look like the whole wall, and they're just beautiful. So here is one of the rooms. It is a double, like all of the rooms in Keene. So there are 2 beds, 2 desks, closets, and then of course the lovely windows overlooking the beautiful green now that it's sunshiny out. Yeah, I know when I was a freshman, I was so excited to have a roommate because I shared a room with my sister before coming here. And my roommate and I, we got along so well. There was like a little awkward period the first week where we're like, oh, do we talk to each other? What do we do? But we got along great. Parents, close your ears. We got like tattoos together, little tiny ones, finals week in the spring. But she's great, and I couldn't have asked for a better freshman roommate. So yeah, Keene's great. Lots of fun toys, big windows. And yeah, it's super cozy and a great atmosphere in the dark side buildings.
Hi everyone, my name is Elise. I'm one of the RAs in Wertimer. Outside of Res Life, I work as a writing center tutor and I'm on the college's students team. So today I'm going to show you around Wertimer House. So this is our lovely common room. The view is incredibly pretty and it's always nice to watch the sunset and sunrise. And there's so many seating options. Over here, we have a nice couch set up with the TV. This is where I like to pop a squat and watch The Bachelor. And then this way, we have a nice little game room. There's a pool table. If you actually know how to play pool, I don't, but people have fun with that. And then this way, we have our kitchen area. There's a stove, oven, sink, fridge, all for everyone in the building to use. Now we're going to go upstairs and see one of our residence rooms. Even the staircase. Speaking of Taylor Swift, I took a little bit of creative liberty with my door decks and made them Taylor Swift themed. Evermore, folklore. You belong with me music video. If you're a Swiftie, this is your sign. All right, now we're gonna go into one of my residence rooms. Hello.
Hi, welcome in.
Thank you. These are my residents, Eli, Jack.
Hello.
This is what a double looks like. Hello. Great windows.
And outside, etc. Here's the room.
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite part of living in Wertimer?
The windows.
Oh, yeah.
Morning light.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not coming in. Yeah, it's not coming in the morning is nice.
And having me as your RN.
Exactly.
All right. That's everything for Wertimer.
All right. Thank you to Rory and Elise. And we're going to jump over now to Dunham Residence Hall.
Hey guys, I'm Willie. Today I will be presenting Dunham with my friend Amanda. So I'm a sophomore here at Hamilton. I study econ and gov, and I'm also on the hockey team. And this is first year as an RA. So we're here in the common room presently. This is a place where people like to come to hang out, chill, take it easy. There are some tables, so people like to come and do a little bit of homework here, because that's part of being a college student, obviously. I like this place because you can see the whole outside, and yeah, you have enough room to invite some friends over. So come on in, we'll show you a little bit of Dunham. So personally, I was paired with one roommate last year. I was living in a split double, and I was very lucky, very fortunate. Him and I got along very well, and obviously it's not the case for everyone, but that's what RAs are here for. If you ever have an issue with a roommate, you can go to your RA, and we are very helpful. We know what to do in those situations.
Hey, so I'm gonna hand off the phone. My name's Amanda. I'm giving the tour with Lily today. I'm also a sophomore RA in the basement of Dunham. I'm a chemistry major with an art and ES minor. This is the basement. It's one of the 3 specialty housing floors for first years at Hamilton. We're gonna go into the common room. Hello, how's it going?
Hello.
We're getting a little tour for Reslake. This is Luke, one of my residents.
Hello.
We're getting an on-the-spot teacher, but this is the common room for the basement of Dunham, and probably my favorite part about living on the floor last year and this year. There's always people in here studying or hanging out, watching TV. So it's a really great community space. And we keep going out of here. The specialty floor for the basement is the Wilderness Outdoor Leadership floor. So we did events in the Adirondacks. I led a hike to Cascade and Porter in the fall. And this past weekend, I went up to Owl's Head in the Adirondacks, which had an amazing view of the beautiful fire tower. But we also do events with the rest of Dunham. We had a really fun ice skating event. So it's just a really great community in the building, and a really great place to live as a freshman. So we're gonna head back upstairs and show you one of the rooms.
Right, so I'm going to be showing you quickly my own room. This is a single, so all of you guys will be either in doubles or quads next year, but it will give you a bit of an idea of what it looks like. Oh, this is it. Have a nice window, a great desk to do your homework, and so yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to Willie and Amanda. And let's toss it over to our first dining hall.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Altman. I'm a senior here at Hamilton College, and welcome to our largest dining hall on campus. This is located in the center of campus, and here they have all the varieties of food that you could possibly want. This is currently peak dining hour. Excuse me, sorry. Here we have a sushi bowl station, as well as a very nice pizza station. I'm from Chicago, so it's really nice to be able to have some New York style pizza. In front of over here is our, we have milk and soda dispensers, which I'll show you, and some cereal. And if you'll follow me, I'll show you some of the home lines. This is a really great way to get some home cooked meals while you are on campus. Each day is different and the menus are always posted online so that you can see up to a week in advance of the food option. So here you can see the home line, as well as the seared line. So you can get chicken, you can get burgers of different varieties, whether it be black bean burgers or turkey burgers or hot dogs even. And over here is our lovely salad bar for those who want to keep it a little bit simpler. So if you follow me, I'll show you the lovely drink selection that we have. Commons is open from 7:30 in the morning until midnight. So there's always opportunity to get coffee or tea or whatever you may want to rejuvenate you. And here are our lovely sitting options. So behind me, like I said, it's peak dining hours, but all the tables are being used. It's a great vast space and a great way to connect with friends and to enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, or day while you're here. We also have ice cream 24/7. So please, if you're an ice cream phenom, we have wonderful flavors. I know pumpkin chocolate chip is my favorite flavor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And we're going to hop over to our last dining hall and our last stop on the video, which is McEwen.
Hi, so my name is Will Keeger. I am a senior here at Hamilton, majoring in neuroscience. On campus, I like to rock climb a lot, and they've also been an orientation leader this past fall.
Hi, and I'm Emily. I'm also a senior. I'm an environmental studies major, and I'm minoring in art and French. Yeah, and I will be the one filming, and we'll take you on a tour of McEwen.
Yeah, so these are the stairs leading up to McEwen. So if we go up here, we see a nice big dining hall. So this is the big second largest dining hall on campus, and it is located on the dark side. So coming right this way, we like to see over here. So this has, at dinner time, it has stir fries very often. This is my favorite station at McEwen. So we have a nice stir fry here for dinner. For various times, I believe there are tacos. Coming this way, we have ice cream station, very popular as you can see. In fact, we have oatmeal cookie day, displayed over there. We can also have ice cream shakes, milkshakes.
Yeah, they're really good.
This way, you have our home station. This serves the various different splattering of food. We have pasta over there. And additionally, we have pizza. And McEwen pizza tends to be very thick crust. Right this way, we have our salad bar, as well as our drink station. So you can see we have toppings over here, various salad options. One of my personal favorites is we do have chia seeds as well. Yogurt and whatnot. Over here we have milk and 24-hour, well, I guess not actually 24 hours, but all day cereal, some fruits as well, and condiments, and also a sandwich bar, because you can make your own sandwich, as well as bagels in the toaster. Over here we have coffee, and every student, generally, I mean, most people I would say run on coffee in general, so never go wrong with that. Dessert station over here, as well as gluten-free and dairy-free options for milk. And over here we have our make your own eggs station. In fact, one of my favorite ways to utilize this is actually just by making a stir fry. You can just grab rice or noodles or whatnot, and really just go ham at it. Opening out this way, we see the rest of the dining hall. I also want to point out the nice waffle ceilings. That's one of the big hallmarks of the dark side. You'll see that on every building. So you see the dining hall kind of expand this way. Yeah. Emily, what's your favorite food to eat here at McEwen?
Oh, me? I really like the shrimp tacos that they have here. I think it's one of my favorites. But I also really like the stir fry.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, thank you all for coming out.
Will and Emily, where's your favorite place to eat on campus?
Favorite place on campus?
Favorite place to eat.
I actually really like pub lunches. So pub is one of our smaller dining halls on campus. It's open just for lunches as well as evening activities. And in terms of lunch, they generally have soup, a salad of some sort, a sandwich, and then often a main course. It kind of varies by day, but it's a nice sort of homely atmosphere, a very good vibes, a nice atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, I personally really like the diner. I go there every Wednesdays for lunch because they have mac and cheese on Wednesdays. They have fries, mott sticks, chicken tenders, all that really good stuff. And I really like the 50s diner vibe in there.
All right. Thank you so much, Will and Emily.
Of course, thank you.
All right. Okay. So I know that was kind of a lightning tour of some of our facilities, but hopefully that gave you a bit of a sense of what you might be looking at in terms of places to live and places to eat on campus. And so with that, I'm going to bring back Ashley and Tanith so that we can talk a little more, answer some of your questions. Again, feel free to be tossing those in the question and answer, as well as the chat if you have stuff that you'd like us to address. So just to get us started, again, Ashley and Tanith, if maybe both want to answer this one, what do you hope that our visitors, our prospective Hamilton students, come out of this knowing about the residential life at Hamilton?
I think for me, I would want people to hear that there are lots of different options at Hamilton. It really is set up for lots of different types of people, lots of different types of interests. It's a really cool place to be where you can meet people that you really connect well with, and you can meet new people that you never would have met if you weren't here. It's a really neat opportunity, and it's a really unique institution. It's just a pretty wonderful community where people really show up. People come and they really support each other.
Yes, I would echo that exactly, almost exact sentiment. The variety at Hamilton, especially in our, residence halls and dining halls, is so vast that you get to experience so many different things in your 4 years. So if you come with an open mind and an excitement to experience, you will do very well and be very successful.
So we talked a little bit earlier about how first years end up with the roommates and residence halls, but we've gotten a couple of questions about how upperclassmen do. So would you mind talking a little more about that process? How do upperclassmen find out where they're going to live, pick where they're going to live? How do they find out who they're going to be living with?
Yeah, so for the incoming first years, that questionnaire is key. And I'll just say a few more things about that for incoming first years. Take your time filling out the questionnaire because it is really important. We do very unique placement here at Hamilton where we do it by hand. There isn't a computer system that matches up roommates. The computer system helps us determine things like all the people who go to bed by 9 are in this group, and all the people who go to bed at 1 a.m. are in this group. But other than that, we do it all by hand. So that paragraph that we ask you to write about yourselves is really important because we read every single one. And we use those paragraphs to match people up with like-minded individuals that we think would be a good match as roommates. So we just ask that you take your time when you fill out your questionnaire, that you do it on your own so that you're being really honest, because honesty is really important in those questionnaires, that you fill those questionnaires out as you really are, not as you hope to be. So if your room at home right now is really messy, tell us that you're messy. Even if you have aspirations to be very neat in college, be really honest with us about the way that you're living in your space and what you need in your space so that we can match you really well. When you are looking forward to your sophomore, junior, and senior year, you actually select housing on your own through the housing selection process. And there's a variety of different ways to do that. Students can propose special interest communities as upperclassmen and join special interest communities that are proposed by other students. We have substance-free housing. We have a variety of different types of housing, and you pick your own roommates for your sophomore and junior year. You form your own roommate groups, and then you select housing in those processes.
Thank you. We also got a couple questions about RAs. Could you talk a little more about what role RAs have in the system, and how does one become an RA? Like when can that start to happen?
Definitely. So being an RA is a great leadership opportunity. It's one of the best positions on campus. I'm a little biased, I get that. But it really is such a great opportunity because you live on a floor with your advisees or in a building with your advisees, depending on where you're placed. And you get to build community. And what that means is that you develop individual relationships with your advisees, and you also build group relationships. So you bring people together, you give people the opportunity to get to know each other. You help to prevent conflict, and you also help to resolve conflict. And in doing so, you learn some really valuable skills that are wildly transferable. The life skills that you gain just from being in an RA position are so valuable. It gives you a lot to talk about in an interview. It gives you a lot to, connect with other people about. And you also build your own kind of community within the RA staff and with us as the professional staff. It's one of my favorite things about my job is that I get to work with the RA staff because they're such a cool, fun, and talented group of people. I really enjoy it. We start our selection process first thing in the spring semester for hiring in the fall. And so the goal is to open applications early in the spring, do interviews. So we do an individual interview and a group interview with every candidate. And then we select our staff, we make our offers, and we get everything all wrapped up before housing selection begins. And so that way our RA staff is set in place. We know where our special interest communities are, and we can do the rest of housing selection. So if you're interested in being an RA, you would come and you would spend your first semester here with us in the fall, getting to know everything on campus, getting to know us, getting to know your community, and then you could apply in the spring. If you are a January admit, we would have you be here for a semester before we would have you, before we could consider you for an RA position. And so we do have RAs who go abroad for the spring semester. So we do kind of a mini selection process for filling those spring semester spaces. But generally speaking, we hire RAs in the spring for the fall.
Couple quick follow-up questions. One is actually applicable to something you just said. So we have our January admits who join us partway through the year. Where do they live on campus?
Yeah, so we have a first year housing model, as I think most people are aware. So our first year students live together in specific residence halls. This is a little bit tricky because we don't have enough space to be able to leave open a bunch of beds to accommodate for our January admits. So in the fall semester, what we do is we have upper class students living on the 3rd floor of Dunham. And we actually, when they pick those spaces, they agree to move for the spring semester. And so what that does is it opens up a floor for our January admits to be able to generally live together. It doesn't always work out perfectly. Sometimes we need to use other open first year spaces in other buildings, but January admits are always housed with other first years. And so we make sure we're setting it up really intentionally to open up some space for our January admits to come in and feel welcomed in our community.
We also had a few mentions of special interest housing, both on the tour of Dunham and in your answers. Are there special interest housing options available for first years that you could talk about?
There are. So we have 3 special interest housing options. We have Wolf, which is the Wilderness and Outdoor Leadership floor. So you saw Amanda showing you that. And so that one's pretty self-explanatory. If you like being outdoors, you like to go do outdoorsy things, that could be a really cool option for you. It's connected to our outdoor leadership staff. So Andrew Gillings and Sarah Scoy help us out with that. Some really cool opportunities to go hiking and camping and different things like that. So it's a really popular special interest community. We also have a mindfulness community, which again is fairly self-explanatory. And we have our chaplain, Jeff McCarn. He helps us with that program and connects closely with the RA. And he has an intern who does a lot of programming with that community as well. And then we have CORE, which is the Community Outreach Residential experience. So the core floor is for people who like to go out and do community service. They like to go out and do things within our community. They'll go out and do things in Utica. They'll do things on campus sometimes. And so they're very connected to Amy James, who runs the COOP as well. So lots of different opportunities. You can apply for a special interest community on your questionnaire, and you just kind of explain why you're interested. You fill out a couple of questions, and then we do our best to get people into those communities and also paired with a roommate that's a good fit. So it's a complicated puzzle, but Tanith is a genius when she gets in there. She does it like nobody I've ever seen. She's wonderful at it.
Great. Another actually question about that questionnaire, I think, is can you request to be on a gender specific floor?
Yes. Yep. So you have the opportunity to tell us certain preferences about a gender specific floor. We ask you to preference your types of rooms. So we'll have you rank whether you prefer a double, a triple, or a quad. We do our best to meet those preferences, although sometimes we are unable to meet those preferences. We prioritize matching you with roommates that we feel like you'll really match well with. And we try to also then make preferences for room type. But you can suggest a gender specific floor. We have those in Dunham and in North Hall.
Perhaps more nitty-gritty question, but this came in the registration form. Is it possible to get a single your freshman or sophomore year? What kinds of rooms are available early on?
So we don't have singles for our first year students. All of our first year students are in doubles, triples, or quads, and we really prioritize you meeting new people and getting acclimated to the community as a first year student. And we do take a lot of care in matching you with your first year roommate so that you will have somebody when you get to campus that you can meet and get to know right away when you first get here. Our sophomore students also are generally in doubles or quads for their sophomore year. When you get to your junior and senior year, you do move on to other types of housing sometimes, including singles. Those spaces also include, some apartments, apartment style housing or suite style housing for junior and senior year.
Question about breaks. Are students leaving the residence hall over breaks? Is there any accommodation for students to be able to stay over breaks depending on travel, things like that?
So that depends on the break. For Thanksgiving break and spring break, students can stay on campus. They simply have to register and tell us that they're here, but they can stay. For winter break, we do completely empty campus. So students do have to leave at the end of fall semester. They don't move out. They leave everything in their room as long as they're coming back in the spring. They do have to empty out their refrigerators and make sure they're not leaving any perishable food items, those sorts of things. But they do leave all the rest of their stuff in their room, lock their room up, and then leave for winter break and then come back for spring semester.
Could you talk a little bit about how meal plans work at Hamilton? How does this connect to the residential experience?
Yeah, so for incoming first year students, everybody's on the unlimited plan. So that means you can go in, you can swipe as many times as you want, you can eat whenever you want, however much you want. So it's really flexible, it's really handy. I think somebody was saying, you can go in and grab a cup of coffee and then go to class. It's really nice to be able just to have access to the dining hall whenever you want. When you are a junior and a senior, you may be able to select housing where you have access to a better kitchen. And in some of those cases, you can select a lower meal plan. And so that could mean you have, lunch in the dining halls, but maybe you make breakfast at home and you have dinner at home. So as you get through your time at Hamilton, you have a little bit more flexibility with your dining, but it's tied to where you live as well. I think my internet cut out a little bit. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I think the audio came through, so I think we're all right.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Hopefully I wasn't making a face.
We got a couple questions about athletes and how the housing system works for athletes. Do athletes live together? Is there an athlete specific type of housing, or are they mixed in with the rest of the student body?
Yep, all of our students are housed together. So when you're filling out your questionnaire and all this stuff, we don't ask about athletics. We don't ask about anything like that. We're focused more on the way that you live, your personal habits, your hobbies, that sort of thing. So you can certainly tell us in your paragraph that you're an athlete, if that's something that you want us to know. But we don't have specific athletic housing, and athletes aren't separated from the other students in any way.
Mm-hmm. And as upperclassmen, they don't have to live with their teams, right? Like it's not organized in any way that way. They can, if they choose to, try and set something up, but it's not systematized.
Exactly. As an upperclassman, you choose who you live with. So you choose your roommate or roommates, and there is no rules to who they can be. So you can live with any other student as long as they are also a sophomore, junior, or senior.
We got a question specifically about, where first years live on campus, light side versus dark side. But before we get to that question, I'd actually, that term came up several times as students were giving the tours. Would you mind speaking a little bit to the light side, dark side? Like what is the difference between those two sides of campus as far as residence halls go?
Sure. I don't actually know the history. Actually might be able
to be fair, I'm not sure anyone knows the true history. There's lots of jokes about how they got their name, but
yeah, when students are talking about the dark side of campus, they're talking about the south side of campus. And that is also called the Kirkland side. So the side that used to be the Kirkland College before they merged into Hamilton College. And that is the trademarks of that side of campus. I know one of them said in the dining hall is the waffle ceilings, the huge room-sized windows, that sort of thing is well known on that side of campus. If they're talking about the light side of campus, they're generally talking about the north side, or the side where Dunham and Commons are. Those buildings tend to be stoneworked buildings with more unique features. A lot of unique shaped windows and unique shaped rooms, that sort of thing. And then you might also hear about the gray side, or the down the hill sort of side of campus, and that is where Wallace Johnson and Wertimer for first years are, and Shenandoah building, those sorts of buildings that are sort of in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I might also add that sometimes people will try and locate closer to where the academic buildings that have a lot of their classes will be. So for example, the science center where a lot of the hard science classes are held is on the light side of campus. The social science building is on the dark side of campus. The arts building is a little bit in the middle. So like there's different preferences sometimes just based on, if you want to shorten your walk in the morning to where your classes are. But so there was a question about where physically on campus first years tend to live. Where are those residence halls that first years are in?
So we have first year residence halls in every area of campus. So we have first year residence halls that are on the dark side. Keene, Major, Glenview buildings are over on that side of campus. On the light side, we have North and Dunham. Gray side, we have Wertimer, Wally Johnson. So the first year students are on every side of campus.
Yeah, and I might add, so we saw Keene, Dunham, and Wertimer. So you saw examples actually of residence halls in all the different areas of campus as part of that. We got a question about, can you talk a little about what items are not allowed in residence halls? Are there specific restrictions for things people can't bring? And I know we actually had a question specifically about whether microwaves and coffee makers are allowed. So maybe start with that.
Yes, so you should definitely check out our website, check the student code of conduct for prohibited items. Really, really important for safety. Yes, you can have a microwave. Yes, you can have your mini fridge. Yes, you can have a coffee maker as long as it has an automatic shut off. Things you can't have in your residence hall room are things like air fryers, and you can't have like a hot plate, things like that. You can't have plug-in string lights. So if you want string lights to make your room look really nice, make sure they're battery operated. You can't have, if you want to bring a flag, a lot of people like to bring a flag to hang on their wall. You can't actually hang your flag, but you could put it in a glass frame. So if you have it behind glass hung on your wall, that's okay. Otherwise, you can't have it hung on your wall. Obviously, no weapons. If you have a sword that's really cool and you want to hang it over your bed because it looks really, really cool, I bet it does look really cool, but don't bring it because it's a policy violation. If you have, yeah, like basically like the safety stuff, right? So look at that list of prohibited items. I think water beds are on the list of prohibited items. So don't bring your water bed, I suppose, if anyone has those anymore. But definitely take a look at that because that's really important. So safety is really, really important when you're living in a residence hall. You're relying on the people around you to be safe. And so you also have to be safe. And then we also, when you move in and you get your key, we're going to give you a brochure. Make sure you look through that brochure. And if you brought anything accidentally that you shouldn't have, send it home. Really important that you're paying attention to that because we do have to inspect rooms with the state fire inspector. And when he finds things, we have to address them. So definitely check out the website. Ask if you have questions. If you can't find something you're not totally sure, email us at ResLife, and we will be very happy to answer those questions for you.
And my colleague was able to find the link for that page and put it in the chat. So if any of you wanted to take a look, please feel free. Also, a question about what is provided for you when you're moving into the residence halls. What are the things you don't have to worry about bringing?
Yeah, you don't have to bring your own bed. we give you a bed. Also a mattress. It is a twin extra long. You do need to bring your own bedding. So when you are shopping for sheets and blankets and things like that for your bed, it's a twin extra long, which is a standard college size bed. Every student gets their own bed, their own mattress. Every student also has a desk and a desk chair. Every student will either have space in a built-in closet or wardrobe that they can hang clothes in, and some sort of dresser drawers. So in some of the buildings, it's a stand-up dresser with a few drawers in it. In some of the buildings, it's drawers that go underneath your bed. All of that stuff is provided for you in every single space that you live your whole 4 years.
We had a question about the cooking facilities that we saw on some of those tours. So in all the residence halls, when they were looking at the common areas, they showed, sinks, stoves, things like that. Are those open for students to use? I know you mentioned that some residence halls have more elaborate setups if you are in one of the upperclassmen rooms where you might have a less intensive meal plan.
Yes, definitely. So learning how to cook is a great thing to do while you're at school. We love hearing about the food that people are cooking together. It's a great way to build community. I love it when the RAs do programs where they're coming together and making dinner together. So it's a really important part of a residence hall is the kitchen. Some of the buildings have better kitchens than others. All of the buildings have a kitchen. So if you like to cook, you will have the opportunity to be able to use those kitchens. That's not a problem. You will have to bring your own pots and pans and utensils and things like that. So you'll want to make sure to pack those if you like to cook your own food sometimes. There is a refrigerator in all of the kitchens as well. So you can store your food there, just label it well so that everybody knows that it's yours. When you are able to select into housing, if the kitchen is important to you as an upper class student, you can live in different places that have kitchens with fewer people using them. So, if that's a priority of yours, then when you get here, get to know the different residence halls and see if there's a setup that you think would work really well for you so that during selection, you can try to get that type of housing. But yeah, we have lots of students who cook a lot. We have students who set off a fire alarm while they're learning how to cook. So that's a growing pain for sure. But it's a great opportunity to do something together with other people and to learn how to make a meal.
Okay. We did get a question in the chat, which I might address about the more informal dining options. So we did show you the two main dining halls. Those were the Commons and McEwen that you got a little tour of. But we did also have mentioned the little pub, which as said, does provide lunches that are part of the meal plan, and is open in the evenings, not for food necessarily, but for social occasions. They've got great popcorn, actually, as I understand it. And the diner, which is like a 50s style diner. It has really great, chicken fingers, sandwiches, Philly cheesesteak, that kind of stuff. That's also part of your meal plan, also something you can take advantage of. The diner is also the diner of the unofficial options has like the most elaborate hours. It has the most expansive hours for our students. And in particular, something called Diner B, which is when it's open after midnight in the wee hours of the morning, and people can go get diner breakfast food. Again, it's sort of a staple amongst our night owl college students as part of the food options on campus. So yes, there are other kind of non-dining hall options that you can use to eat on campus as well, some of which are cash, some of which are part of your meal plan, but those are kind of the big ones. We have a question about washers and dryers. How are our students doing laundry, and how accessible is that to them?
Yes, we have washers and dryers in all the residence halls. And they, well, I guess actually instead, we don't have them in 100 College Hill Road, but that's not a first year area. So in all of the buildings that you'd be assigned to, we have washers and dryers. You do pay for laundry, so it's $1.50 per load, and it's really easy. So you'll have a Hill card, which is your ID, and you'll be able to add money to your Hill card, and you'll just swipe it, put your load of laundry in, hit start, and then make sure you come back when it's done so that somebody else can use the machine. So the number of washers and dryers varies depending on the building, because the number of people in the buildings it varies as well. So I think the ratio is pretty standard across campus, but some places have one or two and some places have more.
Kind of a higher level question. Any tips for our incoming students, those who've decided or those who are thinking about Hamilton, on how to get the most out of their residential experience at Hamilton?
Definitely. The number one thing that I say when someone asks me, for advice about their first year, the number one thing I say is you need to show up. You just need to show up. The hardest thing to do is to get out there, because it's scary and it's, a new place and a new atmosphere, new culture, new people. Show up. That's it. Just show up. Everything else will be okay.
I would say be open-minded. You're going to be trying lots of new things and learning lots of new things and meeting lots of new people. So coming to it open-minded and excited to do that helps. And remember that we are here to help. So as you're getting acclimated, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you don't know how to do something, your RAs, your area directors, Ashley, myself, we're all here, as are all the other staff at Hamilton, and we are happy to help. So you're never alone. Reach out and ask.
Okay. So we are closing in on the end of our time here. So just as a final sort of wrap up thing, we've asked you a lot about residential life, but these are students here today who are choosing where they want to spend their college years. So if you give one piece of advice to them as they make that choice, what piece of advice would you give?
Trust your gut.
You stole mine. That's what I was going to say.
That's why I went first. No, trust your gut. You know when you have found the place that you're supposed to be. My daughter is a graduating senior, not at Hamilton, but she's graduating this year, and she knew the minute she stepped foot on the campus she was supposed to be at. And you know that too. And trust your gut. Know that you know what you want and what's going to be good for you. And then when you make the decision, dive in and enjoy every minute of it, because it goes really fast.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that. Go with what feels right. Don't be afraid though by that feeling inside of being nervous and that discomfort. One of the things that I talk a lot about when I'm doing training with the RAs is really embracing that discomfort and really thinking about how you can grow through that. Any new experience is going to be uncomfortable to some degree, but how you embrace that, how you lean into that, will determine how much you grow from that. And that's what college is all about. It's about leaning in and growing and getting the most out of your experience.
Right. All right. So as we're reaching the end of our time here, I want to say a big thank you to Ashley and Tanith, and of course all of our wonderful students who were kind enough to show us around the dining halls, around their spaces in the dorms, and hopefully give you a little sense of what life might be like at Hamilton. Again, just want to say thank you all so much for spending some time with us this evening. We really appreciate your time and attention. And regardless of your ultimate college choice, whether that ends up being Hamilton or someplace else, we wish you all the best with your college years and beyond. Of course, we do hope it's Hamilton. But again, what we really want is for you to have a successful experience. So with that said, we're going to close out this event. The last thing I'll say is that we're doing more of these events going forward. So please do continue to check that email, sign up for future events if they sound interesting to you. Check out some recordings of our past events, which we've posted on our website, if that's something you're interested in. And as you continue to make this college choice and think about Hamilton, please reach out and let us know if you have any questions that we can help with. So thank you so much again. Best wishes for a wonderful spring and have a great night.